uh, mm,
Oh, what a wonderful moment we have to share together. This is certainly something to be grateful for. It's not really much else to say. Mm. Mm. Yeah, my friend was sharing with me a couple of days ago. She said she was listening to this neuroscientist, and she said, "You never guess what he said." And I said, "What did he say?" And he said, "There is two things that you must do in life." I said, "Oh yeah, what's that then?" He said, "Forgive and be grateful." And I said, "That's perfect. That's so simple. That's the simple. That's the only thing you have to do." I said, "Oh, I love that." And then through the prayer, it's like, well, they're both the same. They're both the same thing. So to think of them as separate, they cannot be separate. Um, and I thought, oh well, and then in the moment, I said, I think that's what the talk's going to be: forgiveness and gratitude, because that's what we do. That's what we do for fun. That's our fun. Forgiving and gratitude. It's a lovely job. That's for sure. Yeah, I feel so grateful for forgiveness and this pathway. It feels like a celebration when I think about forgiveness and what it brings to overlook the error, to see that nothing ever went wrong, is like an amazing gift. To see that nothing can ever go wrong, and that I cannot be condemned. I cannot condemn another. And to have this pathway to show me that is wonderful, and I get to practice that every single day. And we get to practice that together today in whatever might have been in our minds to clear when we join in this deep purpose together of remembering the truth. And so, yeah, the wonderful thing is the mind automatically wants to let go of everything it already has. It's already blank. And so we just have to remember that. And so while we find ourselves here, we have the gift of forgiveness. So that feels like a huge celebration in my mind. And just this gift of not knowing. That's what I think this gift of my week has been. Okay, I really don't know. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. I think that's always the surrender. Um, that if I think I know something, that becomes really, really heavy. And somehow my days seem to be going more into that I don't know, and to be into that fresh slate, the tabula rasa state of mind, because I'm just making up a lot of stuff and thinking I know a lot of things, when really all I have is to love, and to remember that that's all I have, and I have opportunities to love, and that's all I have in front of me in a seeming day. And so it's setting my antenna onto that, and then wherever I can be available to support that in my own mind is my day. but there's nothing else really going on. And you know, I hear this a lot. I need to join with you, it's urgent. It's like and I just find it really funny. This is really important, I need to speak to you. And it's like, wow, is it really that important? I know we're in trouble if we're starting a conversation. This is really important. And it's just to remember that no, there really is. To remember love is pretty important. That's very important to me, yeah. But if it's something in form, then it's really not important. And it's just I guess the lesson is that I'm not really in control of anything whatsoever, and it's just about being present, and everything is working together for good. In that, I can completely take my hands off the wheel, and that is a beautiful gift. That is really a gift, and that's what I'm seeing more and more. Really, it's me just letting go of control of every second of every moment of it. That's all I've got to do is just, okay, I have no control and I don't know. And that's always been the joke with most people around me, because it's like, you know, I'm a know-it-all. And that's been, and that's been a way of keeping myself safe and trying to be helpful, in that I have to know something, you know. It's like, oh, it's, can I be helpful, or can I solve this problem, or I've got to know something. And of course in that, then I don't allow for the guidance to come through, or I'm trusting in my small sense of self, in the guise of I'm only trying to be helpful. But it sort of boils down to that actually I don't know. And then it's like I'm learning that is much more restful. That's like my forgiveness lesson, like, okay, I actually don't know. And that's what I'm learning, truly, that I don't know, and there is a far greater plan. And I can just feel like there's this softness that is arising in all of this, and this gratitude from that. Yeah, just pure gratitude of that. I can't even put my finger on it, really. That it's much more restful than I imagined, shall we say. It's like I just have to be open. I just have to be open-minded. That's all I'm doing. I'm just opening my mind up further and further. That's the gift that I'm finding. And that nothing really is to be worried about. Everything is in divine order. And it's up to me whether I want to join the dance of life, or whether I want to do the Kenneth dance, which is all not a bit rocky, that road. As David was sharing about, you know, we would go through life and we go through each day of judging. And I was practicing this today, actually, because I had to go out for a drive in the car to pick up some things. And it was, you were sharing yesterday, David, you know, we're walking through life and we're saying, good looking, not so good looking, you know, bad driving, good driving, nice meal, bad meal. And it's just the ego's domain of comparison and judgment. But that's not what the Christ mind is doing. The Christ mind isn't judging anything. And that's how I went to sleep last night. I just went to bed and said, I don't know. And that was all that was going through my mind. I was just lying there and I was like, I don't know. But it was really beautiful. And there was just this spaciousness, and that's how I went to sleep. And I had a beautiful sleep and woke up. And it was just like, oh, the energy was just beautiful around me. And then it was like, whatever I'm going to do today, I'm just going to see the same in everything and just go on my drive. I'm not going to be in my judging mind, and I don't know. I don't know. And that was so much more fun, not to know. And that's such a grateful state of mind. So I feel grateful for that gift that has been brought to me. And as you were sharing yesterday, David, we just get to the point where we go, okay, I don't know again, and then there's another surrender, and then my knowing will come up, and then it's like, okay, I don't know again until finally I'm going to give up on this game. So yeah, but it's just, I just think this is so much fun. That's what I just want to bring to everyone, that this healing is fun. It really is. And that's what I've seen through the witnesses that are in my mind and in and around me. And just seeing the power of the mind and the power of forgiveness, and to let things go in an instant. I mean, I'm just seeing things and I'm just thinking, I can't even believe that these things aren't touching me in the same way any longer. I just didn't think it was possible, really, to be like this and not feel this stress about things. It's just really wonderful. So yeah, that's what, and I feel grateful actually for being able to do these episodes, because it's like that sort of spurs me on. It's like, well, you can't come on here and start seemingly talking about things when you're not doing it. And so before it was like, yeah, I'm doing my forgiveness, but it's like now it's like, no, like you've got to do it. And I need that in the background to be like, this is important. This is really important. And I want to let go of the whole world. I want to let go of all the ideas and whatever's in my mind. And I think what happens has happened for me is the fear seems to drop. The fear level is going down. It's like, I actually feel like I can face anything. I really do. I'm like, okay, whatever, bring it on. I don't care about the lessons. And quite frankly, I don't care how dark it's going to get in there. Listen, whatever. Because I know I can climb out of the hole, That's what I think the power of the mind starts to happen with the forgiveness. It's like I have this, it's like a gift. It feels like a gift. Forgiveness is a gift. It's like, it's always there and it's always waiting for me, like a puppy. It's like, hello, I want to play with you all the time. And it's just, if you're willing to play, then you will be in the joy. But if you want to be in the fearful thoughts, then yes, you can be in that world. But don't worry, because the joy of forgiveness is just going to sort of like lift you up. And it's like being a sort of rocket. The energy is naturally like underneath you. And when you watch the rockets and it like rumbles, doesn't it? And it's almost like as if nothing's happening, and then boom, then slowly it goes up. And it's like that energy is like behind me and around me the whole time. And it's just whether I want to accept that, just to raise me above the battleground and see, oh my God, nothing was truly going on. And it's just simply a choice as to whether I want to stay in the battleground of the fear or a terrible sense of self or whatever. So yeah, that's just what I want to bring, and I just want to strengthen in my mind every single week, really, when we do this. It's just like, your mind is so powerful and you've already forgiven everything, and it's just, and now we're just remembering that together. And sometimes it does feel like we're stuck in things, but it's like, I'm here to tell you that we don't have to be stuck. My mighty companions around me, we're like, listen, when I'm forgiving for real, and it's over. It's over. It's not like, it's not a process. Jesus isn't teaching a process. It's like, boom, done, over. That's what I like about him. He's like, we can let this go now. What don't you understand about now? It's like, boom, goodbye. That's his psychotherapy. And I'm like, I really like this technique, Jesus. This is great. I love it. It's over. It's like these ideas that the ego just wants to regurgitate. And I love that. I love the same as what you said, David, the other day. That was one of the things that stood in my mind. I seemingly was analysing the ego through psychotherapy. And then Jesus comes in and says, yeah, the ego loves to analyse itself. And I was like, oh my God, I was fooled again. But in such a beautiful way. It's just hilarious when you're not attached to it. It's just like, oh my God, 7 years down the drain. No, 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 it wasn't. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. It's like, when when the master comes in, you want the master teacher. I mean, that's what I want. That's all I want. And when the master tells me that, he just makes me laugh and just like, wow, like there's no need for this going around. It's not days and hours of on end of, right, let's get into the process of what happened. You know, that's not what he's teaching. It's like, see it, give it over. The Holy Spirit does the heavy lifting. It's done. It's dusted. Come to the light. It's just like, what are you waiting for? And that's what I love. So that's the teacher that I want. That's for sure. That's true forgiveness. Oh dear. And just overlooks our error. And that's why, Jesus is the master without a doubt. And he's shown me that my errors are over. And that's a beautiful gift. That he really doesn't see what I see. And that's what I want everybody to see. That's the blessing of that. And that's the blessing of these teachings. The further along we go along this, you see that nothing ever happened. And yeah, that is such a gift that we get to join in this every single week. And for real, remember that. We pause in his presence. And we bow to him and say thank you. Yeah, thank you, David.
Yeah, it's beautiful because I was just pondering today that everything of this world, there's like a crazy obsession with defining everything. And sometimes when I would travel around the world, I'd sit down with somebody and they'd say, "Define God," and I would just laugh because I know that God can't be defined. But then I really discovered that really nothing need be defined. That it's possible to just be present without definitions. And if you look at education, it's just a lot of concepts like Tonka toys or Legos. It's just building, building, building a self-concept with false ideas. And then when you finally turn your mind back over to Jesus, then the concepts start to go. And you find you're in a big subtraction process now, instead of the struggle to add new definitions, new degrees behind your name, new social status symbols, new relationships, new roles to take on. You're just not interested in addition anymore. You're ready for subtraction. And all the great mystics and saints have talked about empty your mind. Yeah, that's subtraction. That's the other direction. So, yeah, for me, it's beautiful, and Jesus does help us out with that. He says, if you could accept that this is just a world of ideas, then the whole belief in the ego between giving and losing would disappear. If you start to just see it's a world of ideas and that they're make believe, then what's wrong with letting them go? If they're blocking the light, there's no problem with subtraction. I'm into subtraction. Uh, and then when I think about heaven, that's just Christ is an idea in the mind of God. So reality is a very happy idea. It's an eternal idea without beginning or end. And then the real world, or the forgiven world, is just a mind that only embraces forgiveness. So you see everything with the Holy Spirit through the filter of forgiveness. But this idea of trying to make something happen, or take a position, or make a relationship happen, or make anything happen. Even a spiritual event, finally you start to realize, well, I can't really make anything happen. I can't control the world. So I'm just going to behold it. And we're also told that the body is a substitute. It's a substitute. It's a concept that covers over the light. So you start to say, well, I'm not going to put my attention in onto the bodies and onto the world if my peace of mind depends on me overlooking the body, then I want to be shown that. I don't want to become obsessed with this body, that body. Like you were saying, you know, when you live with people and they start knocking on your door, I have to talk to you. It's very, very important. And when you live with people, at least it's nice that there's communication, but the have to talk to you, and it's very, very important. You know, it puts a lot of even pressure on to talk. You know, then it's like, okay, oh, you have to talk to me. Oh my gosh, that doesn't sound good. so, so I think that Paul McCartney's song that he received after dreaming about his mother, you know, "Let It Be," that is such a beautiful reminder that to let all things be exactly as they are, and we don't really need to define it. We don't we don't have to get into the struggle of trying to define our life, because life is of God and it's actually beyond definition. But when we start to get into this game of defining form, you know, who am I in the world? What is my status? What is my relationship status? What is my relationship to others? What is my relationship to the world? You know, those just are really not questions at all. Those are just statements of the need for concepts and the need for definition. I remember years ago I gave a talk at the monastery, and my friend Lila's eyes just lit up during the talk because I was talking about undefined, guided collaboration. And she just got a big smile on her face and her eyes started to twinkle, and she just, for the rest of her life, she passed away, but the rest of her life she was like a firecracker of joy because of those three things. Undefined, she embraced undefined. Guided, she embraced that if there's anything she would need to know, she would be told by the Spirit. No need for analysis, no need to figure it out, no need to dredge up the past, even just guided. And collaboration, what a fun way to be in relationship with everyone. When you're in a collaborative spirit, it's like, let's join together, let's do something or share something or give something for the whole that blesses the whole. And let's collaborate, let's come together to extend a blessing. And if you just live by those three little things, undefined, guided collaboration, then everything is quite simple, because you don't have expectations for the world to be a certain way. You don't have any expectations. Now the ego would say, yeah, that sounds kind of airy-fairy, undefined guided collaboration. What about the practicalities about how making ends meet and making a living? And it's more like you're allowing the living to come through you, instead of the idea that you have to make a living, that you have to somehow work it out personally. You have to take personal responsibility for living. It's really crazy to think that we were created by God and now we have to make a living. You know, it's like, oh my God, where did we go wrong there? What kind of joke did we buy into? I think Marina, it was about a month ago, she said that when she was in Australia some years ago, she started to ponder the whole idea of work. Like, who invented work in the first place? You know, like what a what a bill of goods. We've been sold something when, Jesus said in the Bible, look at the lilies of the field. They neither spin nor toil. He was asking us to look at the flowers as an example of how the kingdom of heaven was. They're nurtured, they have what they need, they have rain, they have soil, they have sunshine, they give off their fragrance, if they have a smell, if they are beautiful. Flowers are so beautiful to look at, and yet the lilies of the field neither spin nor toil. So for me, that's been a mindset, and I have to say, I considered it more of an experiment at the beginning. I thought, well, if truly I can not define things and I can just follow guidance, and then I can just have a desire to collaborate with all my brothers and sisters, if this will work, if everything will be taken care of in this, then I'm gonna publish it to the world like Henry David Thoreau. If life is sublime, I am going to publish it to the world. I'm going to let everyone know it's sublime. And that's what I got into. But for these last 25 years, a quarter of a century, life has been sublime. And I enjoy talking about it being sublime too. I think, to me, it's no secret now. It's an actuality. And that is something I enjoy being spoken through and extending and expressing. And even the word forgiving, if you break it into two parts, it's forgiving. Like everything is just for the giving. It's just for the giving of love. It's just for the giving of light. These symbols of our bodies and these houses and cars and countries and all these, even Zoom and all these technologies now, computers, they're all just for giving. They're for shining our light. They're for extending our love. Even the phone company years ago, they came up with a jingle, reach out and touch someone, call up and just say hi. What a beautiful jingle. Reach out and touch someone. And Jesus talked about that in the workbook. He says, you believe that a telephone is for reaching somebody that's not in your proximity. But then Jesus says, that is not purpose. The real question you should ask yourself is, what do I want to reach him for? What is the purpose for the call? He says, you cannot solve things at the level of form and say a phone is just for reaching somebody who's not in your proximity. He said, that doesn't do it. You have to, what is your motivation for calling? Are you going to do like Stevie Wonder? I just called to say I love you. That's a beautiful song. And that expresses, the happiness of calling somebody or posting something on Facebook or Instagram or just sending a little love note to somebody for no earthly reason, just because it feels good to say, hey, just writing you a little note to say I love you. Or I do like to send little hearts. I'm known for, it's kind of the joke in the community, David with his little hearts. But to me, that maybe it's corny to some, but it's fun for me. I like to send hearts. I like to text hearts. So I think that's the key, that if we trust that we can have a giving, loving heart, and that everything will be taken care of in that giving and loving, then we can live a very happy, joyful life. We don't have to buy into the stress. And the ego just wants us to somehow get some defined things and try to control things. And I don't know, I think for me, I found out that doesn't work. I am terrible at controlling the world. I tried before and it didn't go well. it just, there's too many expectations, and I just kind of got into a convoluted state of mind trying to prove to myself that certain things should be a certain way, and it was just wanting to control the world. So in the end, you stop it, you let it go. You know, you don't continue along those lines anymore. It's not worth it.
Yeah. It's funny you share that, David. I was today. It's just been in that flow, and it's when you set your mind up to give, everything is given, and it's like everything becomes that dance, and it's felt like every opportunity that has happened today is just to be in that presence and to be in that depth, and there's nothing else really going on other than to be completely and utterly present and to dance in that joy of what is happening in that very moment. Nothing needs to happen. I don't need anything from this situation. It's just here and now, and that's the beautiful thing. And it was funny because I was going along and I had my little things to do, and then all of a sudden I call up Nana, and she just out of the blue, and she says hi, and I just said, I love you, and she starts laughing, and I said, that was it. That was it. There's nothing else going on. There's nothing else. I have nothing else to say. And it's like, yeah, that's it. I said, I have to follow that. I have to follow that, because that's what I'm strengthening in my own mind. There's nothing else really going on whatsoever. It's just, I have to share that because this is just strengthening it for myself. And I think it's like, somehow it's like, it seems to be frightening to be loving or something. I think I've been frightened of it. Like Lisa says to me, yes, I can really feel you've opened up. It's like these doors seem to just keep like opening up, and it's like freedom. It's like freedom of something. I don't know what it is, but somehow there's just some freedom to be real. Just like there's like no agenda with it. It's just a giving. It's like, I love you. That's it. There's nothing else going on. I don't need anything. That's just what needed to happen, and that's the gift, and that's the gift that we all have inside of us. And it was like, actually this morning that me and Lisa were joining, and she was talking about the lesson today. What is it? Something to do with being blessed. I am blessed as a holy son of God, I think it was. And she said, oh, can I read it to you? I said, yeah, sure. And we were she just read it, and I just laid on the sofa. And she was just bathing me in that, and I was just getting this blessing. And then it's like this energy, this tingling all down my hands. It was like, oh my God, I've just got to give, this like energy was just like coming through me, and we were just like bathing in this presence. That's just how we start our day. I think I walked through her door. I knock on her door in the morning, and I walked through the door, and I said, I have no clue what I'm doing. And then we just start laughing, and this is how we start our day, just in this presence, and then seeing what happens. And then from that, seemingly things seem to take shape, but it's not in the controlling way of what it was like, oh, I have these things to do and I must do them. It's like, no, it will happen in the presence of the Lord. Yeah. And that's the gift. And it's like not being I don't know, I'm feeling very biblical. It's like, I don't know, there's some there's some sort of depth happening. I feel it. I don't know. It's like, the ancient call is just like somehow just getting closer and closer or something. And it's like, it is that time collapse. It's like, it's all just one thing. It's all completely one thing. And the power and the glory is here. I just can't really describe it, but it feels like it's coming into that instant, this recognition, that realization, just through this surrender of I don't know. And okay, I just want to give this love away. That's it. That's all I can do. That's my day. And thank you for that demonstration, David, and following yourself, because that's how I feel. I feel like it's an experiment, because that just takes the pressure off. It's like, well, it's just an experiment, isn't it? Why not? Why not experiment with love, you know? I don't know what it is. Jesus tells me that it's all encompassing and it's complete and utter oneness. That's it. End of story. You're either loving everything or you're loving nothing. It's like, okay, great, brilliant. Let's experiment with that then and find the way to that. That has to be my day. I'm not in all encompassing love. That's not a problem. It's like, but wow, I want that. So that's my gift for the day. Let everything be an experiment. And that's what really, when the lessons come up in the mind, they don't have to be this drudging through the mud thing. It's like, it can be a beautiful thing. Like, okay, let's see what the gifts are that are going to be revealed to me in my mind. And I don't have to judge myself for that. It's just I can be creative with it and let it all unfold as it is. And I may stumble and fall, but that's okay too. That can be, stumbling and falling can be just as joyful. You know, you can fall over and you can start crying, but you can also fall over and start laughing. You know, it's a choice, isn't it? It's a choice. And as Jesus says, I'm always there to pick you back up again. In fact, I'm always carrying you. So, you know, if you knew who walked with you, these problems would mean nothing. And so, yeah, that's really the remembering that everything is being given, and that's what I feel. This is the beauty of what's happening. I realise that it's all configuring for me, and then that's when it becomes fun. It's when the world is seemingly against you. You're like, oh my God, why does this keep happening to me? And I can do this all the time. But it's like, when it's happening for you, the seeming lessons can be really funny. It's like, wow, I'm really creating something here, aren't I? What the hell's going on? And it's like being in the, it's like being the rock in the sea. I always love that of the Zen saying, you know, like the rock is in the middle of the sea and the sea is raging over the rock, and yet the rock still stays the same. And then the next day it's completely and utterly calm, and yet the rock still stays the same. And it's like, I want to find the changelessness within me. And I think that's what these last few days have taught me. It's like, if I go out there, it's complete wild. It's like, whoa, this is a crazy world for sure. Okay, that's not who I am. And then I go in and I'm like, nothing's really happening. And it's like the sea, isn't it? It's like on the surface of the sea. You know, I lived in a port, and sometimes you go down to the sea in England and it's rough out there. You know, it's like, okay, you don't want to be going out there today. But if you just go down a little bit further, it's completely and utterly calm. It's just literally like it's on the surface of things. And it's like, there's that calm place within us all of the time. It's just waiting for us. And it was like, when the seeming a scenario that maybe gets you comes up, and it's just like, well, I can I want to remember this calm place, and I'm being told that this calm place is in me, so I have to go there. But now it's like it is there. So that was the beauty of it. It was like, okay, there's actually calm in my mind. It's like I'm believing in it, because it's like there. It's like, there's actually calm. I'm actually doing this to myself. You know, I shared with someone, that's the saying that I've said the most on these episodes. I am doing it to myself, and it is this I would undo. And I always, that's the thing that comes into my mind the whole time. And it's like, the more and more you practice that, the more and more you realize that the calm, the changeless reality is always from within. And no matter what the storm wants to do, I can still stay here and actually enjoy the ride.
Yeah. You know, it reminds me when you mentioned earlier tabula rasa too, because it means blank slate. And that's really the way to live. You know, every day is an open day. Your mind is wide open. You don't have preconceptions of how the day should go or ought to go or has to go. And I remember years ago, I think it was about 1999, I got this idea to do a newsletter. And so I made this beautiful newsletter, and it was called Tabula Rasa. And it was artistically beautiful, and I just poured my writings into this. I thought it was the first issue of a newsletter. Well, but the joke was on me, because after I made that first issue, Jesus laughed and he said, "Okay, that's it." And I said, "What kind of a newsletter is that? One issue?" And he said, "Yeah, that's the point. It's tabula rasa. Uh, that's the whole point. You don't need any other issues. That is it. Just live tabula rasa." And at the time, back in 1999, I thought, well, okay, but that seems to require trust. In this world where everybody seems to be defining everything, defining your career, defining your relationships, defining your family, defining your place in society, defining your history, to be tabula rasa just seems to take trust. And Jesus was like, exactly, but I'll show you that the trust is valid. If you trust me and just hang on to this one episode, this one issue of this so-called newsletter, which was a joke because it was one issue, then he said, just hang on with this, and you'll see that it's true. That the I don't know mind is beautiful. It's an open mind. It's taken care of. It's loved. It, of course, it goes opposite of the whole world, but he says this will work. I tell you, if you trust me, this will work. So recently, our community, we've gone through shifts and shape shifting and seemingly many things over many years, actually. And then we were having a pizza party for Pete. Pete's birthday. We were on the top floor, out under the sky on the top, a pizza parlor on the top floor, and we just started talking, and what came to us was, again, tabula rasa. We were feeling like people have been saying for years, why don't you bring back your tabula rasa mystery school? I love the title, tabula rasa mystery school, because the world is a mystery. You can't really ever know it. That's why we're supposed to forgive it, because it's a mystery that can't ever be known or figured out. And then we just were sharing ideas, although we had such a big long table, we couldn't hear each other. We were like, I would see Ken, his arms are going, and he was really happy, but I couldn't hear a word that he was saying, because he was down at the other end of the table from me. And then when I was talking to Diana, whoever, they were like, can't hear you, So it's kind of funny. But we did come away with tabula rasa. That was what we came away from it, was have a blank slate. Don't prejudge anything. Just let it be shown to you. Let it be given. And so we did a tabula rasa. Of course, Frances made a movie, having never made a movie. She made a movie while we were doing our tabula rasa mystery school. And what we do is we just pray together in the morning. We know that the curriculum is forgiveness, but we don't know the form of the curriculum. So we would just pray together. Who's feeling something? Oh, I feel to do a meditation today. Well, I'm going to take people out on a walk in the canyon. Or I feel like giving a session, or I feel like giving a concert. So you just have a whole group of people together with no clue of what they're doing. I mean, literally no clue. And that's the fun part of it, because people would come from really all around the world for 30 days, and we would just meet and pray and take it moment by moment, day by day, with no planned structure whatsoever. And then I had done that before in Mallorca. I would go over there and do these 6-week so-called retreats, but devotional retreats, but everybody flew in from wherever they came in, and then we were all there, and then we'd all just start praying together. Like, we didn't we didn't have a curriculum lined up for 6 weeks. We had nothing lined up. We just came together to meet, and we called it like an orientation at the beginning, because we're just meeting each other, and we're just praying to be shown. So I think that's just been coming in, bubbling for all of us, and that really is what seems to be calling to us. And then, like Ken was saying, even for these last couple days, it's kind of like you had to really get your fingers out of the pie. You know, you really had to get into tabula rasa to find the peace. Because if your your thoughts started to go towards scenario and people and places and whatever, you know, it's not tabula rasa. It doesn't feel good at all. It actually is quite painful. But when you come back into that trust, and you go to sleep with, I really don't know anything. You know, that's the last thought you think before you sleep. Then that's so beautiful. That's honest, actually. That's an honest thought. I really don't know what's happening. I really don't understand this world. That's an honest thought. People would say, oh, that's not mature or competent. I'm not interested in maturity and competence. I'm interested in peace. I'm actually very interested in peace. And then in trust, everything shows up. You know, we actually do have a lot of fun being with each other, laughing, things coming in. Okay, maybe we will do a tabula rasa mystery school. Like, people have been saying, bring it back, bring it back. You know, we don't want the digital one. We want bring that thing back. And so that's a good sign for us. We like tabula rasa. You know, it's a way to live. It's a way of life. So I'm just grateful that we can have the trust to let life unfold, like Eric's song. You know, slow down, relax, and let life unfold. And we actually practice that.
Yeah, that's what it felt like these last few days. Actually, it feels like that was the gift of, like, I can't go forward into this control now. You know, it went, no, it's not. It's not happening. It's the let go becomes natural, because it's not that it's not needed. It's not needed, and the strength is coming through, saying this need not be. That everything is being taken care of, whether I'm doing this. Like, what are you doing? When are you going to get the lesson? And it's been beautiful, and that's what I've always felt. Is all of a sudden I just can't even. I can't do it. It's like it's almost like a force is stopping me and saying, "No, it's okay. You can rest." And I've seen that actually with Lisa. She's so been helpful for me, because I've been so used to the running around, which has been so helpful for my process, without a shadow of a doubt. It's like I'm not having time to think about me, seemingly, and just like yes. I'll just turn up in a chair. Okay, what the hell am I doing? Okay, I'm running a Zoom room or whatever I'm doing. Right, what was I here for? I go into rooms and I'm like, okay, well, I'm supposed to be doing something here. It's just boom, 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 and then all of a sudden I'm like, slowly, it's like slowing down, and that was just like perfect, like, because you're just not in yourself when you're running around like that. And it's like, great, one thing to another. But now it's like, she's like, just slow down, just take it. And it's like, oh yeah, you know, enjoy the beauty of it. And it's like, then I can see my mind has really changed so much more than it's like, see the joy of everything in a new way. And that's always the beauty of it. It's like, let go, let go, let go. Let go of this. This is not needed any longer. And of course, before that would be, I would feel this sort of tension. Oh my God, you know, there's a let go. But now it really is like what you were talking about, David, like going down the slide, you know, when you're on the slide, there's nothing you can do. You just, woo, plop, and there I am at the bottom. And it's sort of like that. It's like it's a natural. It's natural. It's a natural letting go. It's very, very natural when it's ready to drop away. So yeah, that's what it feels like, because it's like interesting, like through being in the community and like everything's seemingly always changing in form, and it's like, oh my god! And I knew that the ego liked things in certain ways, and this is how I do things, and now we just keep mixing it up all the time, and now I absolutely love it, because it's like, okay, what's my mind gonna do now? You know, what's gonna happen? And then it becomes really exciting. It's like it's not a big deal, whereas when that control is so tight and it's like, oh my god, what's gonna happen now? How is this gonna affect me, you know, and my life? And it's just like, well, no, nothing can actually affect my state of mind. So whatever's going to be happening, I've just got to be here in my heart and let it be revealed. So that's the gift of it. That's the each time it's changing, it's like, no, nothing is changing. Nothing is changing really. And then maybe I do have to do something different, and that just becomes fun too. So it's like, oh, I just love it. So I've seen that. I can see now this sort of like journey of like this letting go. Like you said, it's like the rough edges are slowly sort of like, okay, I don't have to do this. I don't have to do this. And it's like, why was I doing this? I mean, that's the joke of it. That's the joke of it all. Like you were saying, like I tried to control the world and I was actually no good at it. It's a really tough job. It really is. So are you feeling to have some questions, David?
Yeah, I see we have a few digital hands up.
Wonderful. You want to do some hands, Andy?
Yeah, thank you guys. I just have a reminder to read from Ken's description in his show. And it's just that this time is for the ones that really feel the need to share. They may feel stuck and have a burning question. They may feel lost and feel they really need help. It may be that they find it hard to speak up, or it may be a deep call for love. Please pray beforehand if you are to ask a question. A good sign that you really need support is your heart will be pounding. This will be your cue that you need to speak. So we can open it up now. And I think Christoph has been waiting, so we'll go with Christoph.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, Christoph.
Hi.
Hello. I know for sure I'm not lost. I can't give you that criteria, but my heart is pounding. I actually have a burning question. And Ken, I a little bit lost my celebration mode yesterday, which I had for quite some weeks now. So David, I have to talk to you.
Okay.
Not too serious, but I really need all of your advice. And am I open to ask any question about any topic that's bothering me?
Sure, of course.
Okay, thank you. You know, when this Corona thing started last year, I was not into the course at that time, but I totally didn't trust the fear. You know, I was sure I want to go through that period, however long it might be, in a quiet and trusting. At that time, not really trusting and knowing about trusting in what, but I was sure I want to go quietly and trusting and lovingly, and open up some WhatsApp groups and trying to bring this vibes in. But just like on the first day, the conspiracy stuff was coming in, and at the beginning I was angry, I was no, and then I let it go. And finally I left the group, and in December the course came in for myself. I left all the groups because the course was just what I felt, that's the guidance. And I started it with following Tina Spalding. She's having, in 2019, she did the course, a reading of the course for 1 year. and she's channeling some entities, Ananda and also Jesus. So in 2019, she started a project reading the daily lessons and then bringing Jesus in. And he was just, pointing out some of the things, actualizing things for the 2019s. And I just liked it, and I totally trusted it. And I was not listening. I have no television. I'm not on social media. I was not watching like conspiracy stuff. I just felt as soon as I turned my attention to it, my energy was lowering. So it didn't felt right. So I left it. I just stood with the course, and I felt the improving of trust and all the things the course is reminding us. But then, like 3 weeks ago, Tina Spalding, channeling Jesus, brought in a video on YouTube, Jesus on vaccination. And of course, if he comes in with the topic, I was listening, and the way he was presenting it was just the way I think Jesus would present a topic, without any fear, with total freedom, just bringing up certain alternatives, taking the vaccine, not taking it, and just not even bringing in the pros and cons, just what is the consequence, what is the effect, like totally open. And I just like the tone. Somehow I recognized the tone. But like the first thing is saying, the course is your immunization. If you have the course, you are immune for everything. But be totally sure that you trust. If you have any issue, like you're still judging, you're still doing these things, you might not be yet totally into it. And then he's talking to the people who are wanting to take the vaccination. And of course, it's your free will. Just be sure this is a thing in this dream you cannot change. This will stay for this incarnation. And if you feel like you're getting sad or getting worried, just wait, postpone it. Actually, I would delay it. I would just consider just stand on the back of the lane. And then he was saying something like to me and other people who are not up to take the vaccination, not following the fear construct. He says, and the topic was, Tina Spalding was asking it. She heard that you might be, as a human being in the dream, you might be affected being around people who are vaccinated. And she was saying, isn't that a separational idea? And that was the reason for him, if it's him, I think it's him, if it's him, to come in and to talk about it. He says, yes, to avoid people being vaccinated is lowering your energy. It's a kind of fear thing. But in the stream, the effects of the vaccinations are a fact. You just have to know it. And if you don't into vaccination, but you hang on your free will around with people, it will have an effect. He was not saying a very bad thing, what thing, but he was saying, like, and I'm quoting it, it's like you're playing a Russian roulette. It will have some effect, And so more and more of my really best friends just taking the vaccinations, and for reasons staying with the course, I would just say, okay, for going to the cinema again, for traveling again. I know, David, you like traveling. I liked it too, but, and yesterday, a very good friend from Italy told me she's just doing it for some reason. And that opened the door for sadness and a kind of despair. One of my daughters taking it, the other one is just considering it. So the topic in this came very close, and I was thinking about, okay, what do I have to do? Do I have to stay separate? Of course, this is against everything the Course is proposing concerning separation and this oneness. But then I remembered, I listened to the video again. He says, you just have to know this is for this lifetime. It's a kind of fact, and you have to know it. And it's like the most important decision you have in this lifetime, in this seemingly lifetime. And so I'm sad, I'm in a kind of despair. I know this is not the clear vision. This is not the vision, of course, but I know, Ken, it's about forgiving. It's about of being grateful, I know I can stay with all my family and friends, even if I don't be and hang around them, but actually, I just don't know. Yeah, actually, I don't know how to deal with it. And I don't like to, my ego don't like to say that, how to deal with it. I like the Course of being so radical, and I would say, okay, sickness and anything else is just a defensiveness against the truth. I really believe that, but I don't know if I can jump into that topic. Jesus saying there is something, and I wouldn't even say that this is fear. It's just like there's a bottle, poison written on it, and okay, you can say you're fearful not to drink it, or you can just recognize it's poison and you just don't drink it. So I don't know if you get my question, but it would be nice for all of you actually to say something about it. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I come from a teaching that really brings everything back to the mind, and in regards to vaccinations and immunizations, that basically is what Jesus says. If the fear level is too high, sometimes a mixture of magic and miracle is necessary. So ultimately, the whole point is to give yourself over to miracles, and to have those miracles rinse your mind, rinse your consciousness of fear completely. We all can feel that that's the direction of not only the Course, but all the great spiritual pathways to God or to oneness. In terms of Peter Spalding and the channelings and so forth, I did listen to a number of them. Jesus even had me download the book that she wrote as an audio book and go through the book. And Tina is pretty much a new student of the Course. If you have people that have been diving in it very, very deeply, Tina's channeling actually reaches a big segment of the population that wants to come closer to Jesus, but they don't like the way that Jesus has come across in the Catholic Church. They don't like the structure. They don't like the distortions of the penance and the suffering and sacrifice, the ego's upside down interpretation. So I think Tina's doing a great gift. She's basically a beginning court student, and even Helen Schuckman, who was an amazing scribe, had this amazing scribal ability. Her channel was a little clogged. That's why we have 5 or 6 versions of the Course, because Jesus did do quite a bit of editing to make the published version, and yet there was people who broke into the Hewlin Casey Library at Virginia Beach and stole an earlier draft, and even Helen's channel pipeline was a little rusty, and had Jesus teaching a few things around sexuality that were edited out by Jesus later on to give us the published version of the Course. So I listened to a few of the episodes, and occasionally it'd be talking about the powers that be and so on and so forth. The deeper you go with the course, you realize the power is in the mind. There aren't any powers. All conspiracy theories are based on dualistic perceptions that there are the ones that are trying to pull the wool over another segment of society, and those are all projections. Everything, David Icke, and there's many different conspiracy theories. And I did notice on some of the episodes that that there was a little bit of that creeping in, which is the way it goes when you're a new student and you're just reaching people and drawing them to Jesus in a deeper way. It's for a broader audience, and then for people that are long term, deep into the teachings of the course, you do realize that the world is an unreal effect from an unreal cause. The ego made the world, and the ego is not real, so it's an unreal cause in the mind, and then it projected the world as an unreal effect. In terms of people who are vaccinated affecting those who are not vaccinated, this is just basically false cause and effect. Uh, Nobody's doing anything to anybody. In fact, ultimately, it's a hallucination that's not even happening. But the idea that being around certain people could affect certain people, the idea that vaccinations can protect people, that's definitely magical thinking, no doubt. And yet, Jesus is not against magic if the fear level is too high. He's not against medicine. He's not against vaccinations. He's not against these kind of things. But he's saying ultimately they're magical and they're unnecessary, and you can realize that as you go deep into your mind and you come deep into your right mind, and you realize the world's just images. Images can touch you not. He's got a really good workbook lesson that says, myself, my capital self, is ruler of the universe. Well, he's just talking in the course what he said 2,000 years ago. Be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. The Christ mind is so bright and such a bright light that it's not subject to any distorted laws of the ego. It's under one law, the law of love, the law of God, and no other. And so the Christ mind is not at the mercy of anything. So I think it's helpful to remember that as you tune into guidance, guidance is highly individualized. And the thing that you want to do is you want to come into that place of peace, and as best you can, let go, give to the Holy Spirit all factors that would say that something is amiss in form. As Jesus is teaching us, nothing's amiss in form. Form is a projection of the ego mind, and it's the ego that's amiss. It's the ego that has a denial of God's love. It's a faulty formulation of reality based on fear. So it's highly individualized. Like, for example, for myself, when I came down to Mexico at the end of 2019, I actually had a movie gathering where Jesus was talking about 2020 and digital revolution, and he was really pointing us that we would be doing a lot more internet things like Zoom things. He let us know in November of the previous year what was coming before the pandemic, before everything. He's like giving us all these instructions. And then we did a lot of laughing in 2020 because we had tours planned and things, and with the pandemic, everything got wiped out. And we were like, let's go back and listen to that recording at the end of October, back in November, where he's given it to us straight. Like, should be no surprise to us. He's even told us ahead of time where our focus would be, which was on the digital extensions. But there's no set answer for vaccinations because we're all following, listen and follow. Everybody's guidance is coming for what would be most helpful for them. And Jesus does not split the world up and takes a stance as an anti-vax or a vaccinator, because that would make the error real. It would make the split seem to be informed. And of course, he doesn't ever, there's no conspiracy theories in the Course, because that would make the error real. If you had people that were conspiring, to do things to other people, even if it was a hidden agenda, it would still make the belief in an external world apart from the mind real. And that's why there's so much fear and passion and rage connected with conspiracy theories, because Jesus is giving us the miracle as a gift, and when we jump onto theories, there always is fear involved. There always is fear. So I would just say, you can be secure in what you feel guided to do, and you can consider that your guidance, and then follow it, and feel the integrity of following your intuition and your guidance. And I would not get caught in the wave of theories and opinions that swirl around many topics, but certainly around the pandemic, and vaccination, there's just a huge swirl of opinions that really shouldn't block our guidance.
Thank you, Christoph. Thank you.
Thank you, Christoph. And just a reminder to keep the sharing short and concise so we can get to all the hands today. And next up is Patricia Carrier.
Hi, everyone.
Hi,
I
Patricia.
didn't expect to be that early. I was daydreaming. Because Ken, you talk about forgiveness today, it was overwhelming that I have to share something that is huge forgiveness. I'm gonna put it in a nutshell as short as I possibly can. I was born here in Quebec City. At birth, as soon as I was born, my mother gave me away for adoption. I was adopted by a family called Carrier. My adoptive father died when I was 10 years old. My adoptive mother died when I was 12 years old. And then I was put for adoption. Not for adoption, sorry. I was put in a foster care. And in between that time, any imaginable abuse, I lived through it. So at the age of 18 years old, I put an application with the government asking to meet my birth parents. And I was completely on my own then. I went to university and stuff like this, but I was completely alone in this world. So life goes on, and at the age of 21, I left Quebec City and I went all over Canada. My main goal was to learn English because at the time I was unilingual French. Okay, so by the time one day I'm 26 years old and I'm working, I was always been in management all my life, business and everything. Receive a phone call, and in those days, Canada was really like it was not as bilingual as today. Today, like the whole country is like United States with Spanish and English, but us, it's French and English. Anyway, the government reached me and said to me, like, your birth mother is looking for you. So we do, we meet and we got all the question, and, like we became mother and daughter. But all this time I'm going to be 60 next week, from 26 years old to 59 something years old, I had this hatred, like deep love for this woman, but in the meantime, hatred. Like I could not forgive her. I've seen psychologists, I've done and I've been a Course of Miracle for quite a while, and, always asking Holy Spirit to guide me. Then I wanted so for us to have a loving relationship, etc., etc. My mother passed away around a year ago, and it was so interesting because she died in my home. She abandoned 2 kids, myself and my brother, and she had 5 other kids with her previous marriage. And we were the one that were there at her death. It's fascinating how, and all the time I used to live in Ottawa, and I moved from Ottawa to Quebec City really for the last 2 years because I wanted to be with her. I wanted to clarify this relationship, like to go as deep as I possibly can and help her and help myself and, heal all this wound. So, and finally she passed away, and, but still, I didn't have peace, and I was still praying. I was still asking Holy Spirit, guide me, tell me what to do. I will do anything. And I knew I will get this. And today, what happened, I think it happened like a week and a half ago, but this huge miracle happened. One day I'm just cooking, and all of a sudden it's like this energy comes in. I'm just sitting right there and chopping stuff, and all of a sudden it's like Holy Spirit. It's like I was pregnant, and I was my mother, and I felt how much sadness and how desperate my mother was to abandon me. And it was so beautiful because as a mother myself, I could appreciate how difficult it must have been for this woman. Like she knew she had to deliver and give me up for adoption. And it was this healing. It was just like, it was lights coming in, and for me to understood everything. And then after this resentment and this hatred was all gone. It really did change my life, and I'm still sometimes going through, like, I don't really know what happened, but I just wanted to share this. It's just like, I'm so proud is not the right word, but I'm so happy that I was healed. My mother was healed because it's all connected. And also, like, for sure my child will benefit for it. And and that's so far in my life, it's the biggest forgiveness. I know there is no degree in miracle, but to me, I just needed to share this with you. And thank you guys. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's
Thank
heartwarming.
you so much for that.
Thank you, Patricia. And next up is Barbara.
Oh, Lordy, I'm tearing up hearing that story. I guess I should actually share my mom's story right now of seeing her. I know I talked about her I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but we had this really difficult relationship, and I gave her a kidney back in 1996. And before, and that was even when I had the disappearing thing, but I suddenly, in a vision, it wasn't at night, it was just during the day, I suddenly saw her, just her head and her upper body, as like at 18, maybe when she was marrying my father. And suddenly I saw her innocence so clearly. And I just cried out, "Oh, mommy," because I never saw her as my mommy, if that makes sense. And it was very, very powerful experience of seeing her innocence, of not even understanding this world either, I guess, in a sense. But I was in the Course in Miracles when this was given to me. I felt it was such a gift of washing away a lot of the pain and hatred that I had felt for her because of our relationship, and seeing her truly as innocent, of not, being the person I thought she was. It was beyond this world that I saw her innocence. And I'll never forget that experience. And it just came up when you were talking about that, Patricia. It was just, wow, I felt the tears. And I've been watching a lot of Kristen Buxton stuff. And I watched the monastery tape, and it really brought up a lot of heartfelt love. I just felt it from that video. I just felt it come through, and how wonderful the experience was for everybody. And you could feel it. You know how, David, you're saying this video is bringing us together. I am just feeling the love, and where I've never felt it before, if that resonates with anyone else. And hearing our stories is just reminding us of, we have to let go of this world vision that we see, this worldly world, and that we're innocent people, we're holy, we're all holy people in this, or spirit in this worldly crazy place. And that's what I got this week, just listening. I did a lot of the meditations with your guidance too, David, and Ken, I saw your skit. Your skit of the holy instant pill. So it's been a great week, and I'll wrap it up as that, and just sharing love, and thank you also for being here. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you, Barbara. And next up is Aman.
Hi, David.
Hey,
Hi,
Aman.
Ken.
I am.
Good to see you.
Namaste. How are you?
You made our day. A namaste from India. Oh.
Mm.
David, I wanted to ask you. I heard. I think a couple of months ago, you were talking. You mentioned a little bit about this idea of possession, and so I wanted to ask you about like what, because I'm not very clear with this concept of possession. That what is the trap in it, and what are the core assumptions that makes a person, try to possess, whether it's wealth or possess his wife or girlfriend or husband. And if you could talk about this, the effects of possession, and what it is really to not possess. Like, should one give up all their wealth? Or I'm sure that's probably not the meaning, but what does it truly mean to not possess?
Yeah, that's a good question, Aman. I was talking earlier about concepts and concepts of the self, where Jesus says everyone comes to this world without a self and makes one as they go along. But possession is a concept invented by the ego, and it does involve like control, and it does involve ownership, and as you go through the purification uh, through forgiveness, you actually come to a state of mind that is just purely giving. And probably the best aspect of A Course in Miracles, where Jesus addresses it, is in the development of trust. He has 10 characteristics of a teacher of God, and number 7 is generosity. And when he describes generosity, which is just true giving from the heart, he says the teacher of God does not want anything that he cannot give away. What he wanted for, he could only lose because of it. So it's a very high definition of, you might say, a state of mind of characteristic generosity, which is just purely giving. He wants to give the ideas that the Holy Spirit gives away to strengthen them in awareness. And there's no concept of accumulating. There's no concept of ownership. Um, Jesus was a beautiful demonstration of that, because he was basically so in the moment and so into the joy of the kingdom of heaven that he was simply like an oracle for the Holy Spirit. But he had let go of everything that maybe he seemed to possess. Even his skills and abilities, he gave them over to the Holy Spirit. So the carpentry skills, uh, perhaps having a household and going through the things that everybody goes through in this world, believing in the ego. So I would say non-possession is an attitude of just giving, where you just have trust that everything is taken care of, and you're in this giving mode or giving mentality in true generosity, and there's no sense of trying to own or possess or control anything. And it's very high state of mind. But Jesus is calling us to trust in him orchestrating everything in time and space, which is still letting the symbols be used by the Holy Spirit without identifying with them, without claiming ownership of even a body or a house or a car. And definitely, both Ken and I have gone through periods of where it seems, I think it was maybe last week, Ken, you were talking about how things just started to disappear. Your psychotherapy practice, your furniture in your flat and everything just started disappearing. That is pretty common. I know for myself it was the same way, where I was astonished at how things were disappearing from my awareness. And I felt like Jesus was just using this to deepen my trust that everything would be provided. I was the kind of person that when I would move, I would rent a trailer and haul stuff with me wherever I would go. And I would do this because I thought I owned the stuff, and I didn't want to let it go. I thought I still needed it. So this happened a number of times, and then finally Jesus said, "This time you're going to move without a trailer." And I said, "But what about my stuff? What if I need it?" He said, "No, I'll provide you everything that you need. You don't need to haul it behind you. It will actually show up." And that became a beautiful experience, because I would move and everything would show up. Then I would move again and everything would show up. And I would be like, fascinating. It works just great without me trying to hold on to owning and possessing things. Now, when it comes to relationships, that's the same thing. Special relationships in this world are very exclusive. My mother, my father, my child, my partner, my. Oh, my. It's quite a conundrum. There's a lot of guilt with my. But so we're not just talking about objects as far as owning like money or houses or a business. You know, the ego will bring the ownership idea into relationships. And even in Valentine's Day in the United States, it's like you're supposed to give a card, "Won't you be mine?" Oh, it's like it's so possessive and it's so exclusive. And yet, the deeper you go into your function as a teacher of God or a miracle worker, the light is just going to rinse the mind away from this kind of control, possession, ownership idea. It's been funny, like in community over the years, because, you know, t-shirts and shirts get passed around, dresses get passed around, shoes get passed around, most everything. I remember recently I was talking to somebody and they were doing a video conference, I think with Jenny, and who was in our community years ago. And then Jenny just said, "You're wearing my top." Oh, no. That you see, even in community where everything gets passed around, that it's you're wearing my top. It was like, "Oh, I am? Oh." It's like, because there's so much sharing that goes on in communities. So it's a rinse, you know, it's a rinse. I know, Kenneth, you went through a lot of those things. I mean, it's definitely part of the spiritual journey. We can't deny that comes into play.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guess actually that's been the beautiful thing about being here in community. And in actual fact, what I do is every time I have to move somewhere, I always let go of some sort of possessions, you know, just keep letting go, because really I don't really need anything of this world, really. And that's that's the beautiful thing. And what David said is, like, if it's needed, it will show up. And that's what I've seen, that naturally things are let go of. And possession, it just seems like it's like this fear, and then I've got to maintain things. I remember the first time I got a phone, and then the phone company said to me, "Hey, guess what? You get a free laptop with it." And I was like, "Oh, right, okay, I only came in for a phone, but now I'm getting a free laptop." And I sort of like got it, right? And I got home and I saw my dad. I said, "Hey, Dad, I went and got this phone." And I said, and they gave me a free laptop. He goes, "Wow, that's amazing, isn't it?" And I said, "Well, it could be, but the thing is, now I've got to maintain this, haven't I?" He goes, "Yeah, I know what you mean." I said it seemed like a good idea at the time, but I only actually needed a phone, and now I've got a laptop. And this was way before the course or anything like that. And it was sort of like, I think my mind was sort of like changing, like, do I really need this? What is truly needed? And yeah, he provides everything in the mind. So I'm more into mind gifts, and that's a beautiful. they're the gifts that I like to keep. State of mind. Worry about that. Oh, thank you, Arman. Lovely to see you.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you, Aman. And next up is Betsy.
Do I have to do anything? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Hey, Betsy.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to thank you so much for everything, everything that you teach. I found you, David, just a couple of weeks ago on the Miracles podcast, Miracle Voices podcast. And ever since then, I've listened to your podcast. I listened to your movie commentaries, and everything has just been very, very helpful to me, because I'm in a place. I'm in a place in my life that I've never been before, where I have no support. I left my job of 13 years 8 months ago, because I was so overwhelmed. I've only been a course student for 18 months. And so when I was doing the course and then had this full-time demanding job, and then I had a roommate, and it was almost more than what I could handle. And when I would read in the course that, God's will for me is perfect happiness, I thought, I'm not happy. I'm not happy, and I want that happiness, and I want that peace of mind. So I took a leap of faith, and what happened was, because I had nothing to fall back on, I thought, it occurred to me I had enough money in my savings account to get me through 3 months without working. And I thought, that it just made me happy to think about that. So I left my job, and my roommate actually moved out, and my 3 months of money has lasted now for 8 months. But I don't have the money right now to pay my next month's rent. But I feel like in April, what I ended up doing was I ended up, getting on Indeed and updating my resume and, putting out, but I didn't feel right to me. I kept feeling this hesitation. So I took the resume off, and I just got rid of the app, and I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to trust God, that he's going to provide for me. And there's times when I feel such peace about that. Like when I read in the course and it says, I need do nothing, that the Holy Spirit will renew everything that I need. And so I'm holding on to that. And it's, I've had my moments of where I've just, broken down, because it's like, I'm clueless. Like, I have no idea how it's going to come about. And the fact that I have no support, like I have nothing, I have nobody currently in my life to, lean on or for anything. It's even, makes it even more scary. But I really, really, really want the happy dream. And I really, really, really want the peace of mind. And all of my way of doing it is not worked. It's just not worked. And it's like that song, looking for love in all the wrong places. I mean, that's, been me. And if I had to label my character, I would say that she is a people-pleasing perfectionist with private thoughts. And I want to be healed from all of that. I really want to be healed from it. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I'm so thankful to you and to the whole Living Miracles community. I got your, I signed up a couple of days ago for your 30-day unwind the mind. And I was having a real tough time on the very first day. And you sent the video of that Kristen song, Trust. And it just, it really helped so much. My one thing that I have, that I do struggle with is the feeling of the emotional thing, because I know that you talk a lot about feeling the emotions and getting the emotions out. My struggle is, because I've always kept everything inside. I've never had really a safe place to share. And so I guess my question is, because what comes to my mind is oh, if I feel like I cry, and I've cried a lot. If I feel like I want to cry, what comes to my mind is, oh, you're being a victim, and oh, you need to just get over it. So I don't know how that correlates with bringing things, to the surface to be healed. So if that makes any sense, but thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Betsy. Beautiful. I'm so glad you shared. Yeah, I think when you cry, emotions need to be allowed to come up. And so the ego tries to conclude something. And that's where the difficulty comes in. But we do have to let them be like passing clouds. We do have to let them up, and we have to let them move through. And there's nothing good or bad or right or wrong, but it's wonderful when you can have that allowance to just allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. And that initial acceptance will take you a long way in healing. And in terms of just trusting right now with your life situation, I had that happen to me a number of times too, where I felt like I would read the prayer about I am here only to be truly helpful, because I thought I'm willing to be used. I'm willing to be helpful, of service to people, and I don't like to always think of it as having to have a job and get paid for something. I wanted to get into that mode of just offering help to people. And we recently, I think it's been maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I did a movie called Pay It Forward, where Haley Joel Osment played the lead character in there. And it was an amazing Helen Hunt, and just kind of getting into the idea of offering help and offering a gift and offering to really join and help someone, and how it just rippled out. And I think that is where you're at. If you even did kind of an inventory with the Holy Spirit, and you say, well, here's my things I would like to be healed from, the people pleasing and so on and so forth, the private thoughts. But even with your skills and abilities, it's nice sometimes to do a bit of an inventory, because all the Spirit wants to do is repurpose them and use them in a greater plan that brings a blessing to everyone. Whereas in the past, we thought of it just in terms of the person. Oh, this is my education, these are my skills. Now I have to get into the game of reciprocity to earn my living. And I think you're starting to shift and go beyond that. There's so many videos that we've put out, and so many people that have been a part of our community that have shared their experiences of trusting and the way things showed up miraculously. We also have, the community's been long running, but there was a time where I asked Frances, I said, how many people in our community are on scholarship? And she said, well, I'll get back to you on that. And she came back to me and she said 95% of the people in the community who were on scholarship. I was like, oh, well, Jesus is just having some fun here, because we do pour ourselves out on the internet, and we've done travels and many retreats and gatherings, and we feel like it's a brotherhood, a sisterhood of those that are serving Jesus, and then we do trust that our needs are met, and actually met quite well. Kenneth and I can tell you, it's like Jesus is doing a pretty great job of providing whatever we need to shine the light. It's just absolutely miraculous. So that's good. We also have like a prayer and support, like a service that we have where people do connect and they just pray together with somebody. And sometimes just the willingness to join together and pray makes all the difference, because something can come to mind that wasn't allowed for, but when you join in prayer, then the thing can come through. So I'm just excited that you're with us, and I'm excited that you're, making use of some of the videos and resources and Spreaker, audios, and here you are on Get Real. And this is where you can feel the love, you can feel the love and support. But yeah, I've always felt for myself like I just wanted to be serving in a greater way, and I didn't even know how that would look. But I was willing to go anywhere and do anything, including get out of my little box of this is how David's life is. And there were times where I felt like I'm not seeing a support net around me. And Jesus was like, yeah, I'm here for you. I'm your support net. You just keep trusting in me, and I'll show the way, and I'll make it obvious. And it does work. Yeah. So thank you, Betsy.
Yeah, let's expect miracles.
Thank you, Betsy. And next up is our final hand, Phyllis.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yes.
hear you, Phyllis.
I guess I have a hard time sharing on these things. I have a kind of a confession. I have studied the Course in Miracles for many, many years, and but I've done it alone. And I went to a couple of groups, but I got tired of people just talking about it and not talking about their experiences. And I've learned that you don't even really understand the Course unless you've had the experience. You can't. The words just mean, it's like for me, it's like reading about chocolate cake doesn't do anything unless you tasted the cake. Then you know what that talks about, But so I kind of have been by myself, and I've had and then I've been actually, David, I've been watching YouTube from you since 2017, and I didn't really want to, but I thought, who is this clown? I hate to say that, but and I thought, man, he's too nice, talking about Jesus, this is one of these people. But Spirit kept pulling me back in. Just when I tried to get away, kept pulling me back in. And I just kept watching, and I kept watching until I heard enough experiences from people, because I don't trust very easily. I mean, it's I've kind of be by myself. I kind of protect myself, and it's not that I'm shy. It's just that being around a lot of people makes me kind of wiggy. But anyway, my question was I've had tons of body stuff. I've been, they told me I was going to die a couple of times, and I've had like over 20 major surgeries. And anyway, about 2 years ago, they told me I had like maybe 2 or 3 years to live. And it didn't really bother me, because I've come through all this other stuff, and I didn't when I'm sick or when I'm having an issue, I tend to go off by myself. And the reason I do that is because I don't want anybody around me that can make it real. I have to really focus on that. And I haven't been able to explain that to people. They just think, why does she always like to go off by herself? And it's because most people really were raised that way. We believe in illness and all this kind of stuff. And I was raised in the medical profession, and I wished I didn't know what I know. But anyway, I had an experience this week that really kind of just threw me. I listen a lot to speaker, and I listen to your stuff. And Kenneth, I absolutely love you because I can relate to you. I love what you shared with Kristen about your background. I thought, yeah, he's kind of from the hood like me. I can relate to that. But and I love that now you're all like this, because I never let people see my dork side. That's my private side that I don't let people see. But deep down inside, I'm really a dork. But anyway, the body stuff is, it was a couple of days ago, I was listening to the thing as the song of prayer. And I normally don't like any type of spiritual music, especially if it has the word Jesus in it. I tend to like it. But I was listening to Emily, and she sang In the Shallow, and something happened, and I'm just listening to it, and all of a sudden it was like I started crying, and I'm like sweating, and I thought, what the fuck is this? And I realized that my heart had opened, and all my life I kept saying, I've never really been able to experience joy. And I think I had a concept of what I thought joy was. I think I thought it was doing something. And I realized that joy is the spirit. And that song just, well, it shifted something. And I had such gratitude that I can't even explain it. But then a couple of days later, I got real sick. All these symptoms came up, and this fear came up. And I prayed about it, and I realized that I really, really, really needed help. I needed to be around people that could see past the belief I have in illness. And I can't find that in this world. And so all of a sudden my heart just really wanted to be in a community that they have gone through stuff, and they know that this is an illusion. And so it's taken 5 years of listening to YouTube. But anyway, I just wanted to share that, but I want to keep it brief. But there was something else that happened in the beginning, Kenneth, when you were talking, because you were talking about, I just had to laugh because I was feeling so tired today. And my roommate, it drives me nuts sometimes, her asking me to do stuff, but I've always been helping people. I always fix stuff, and I'm just very self-sufficient because I've been on my own since I was 8. And so I can do things that most people can't, and I like doing that a lot. But I guess that guise of thinking that you're being helpful. And anyway, I spent 3 hours trying to fix a computer problem that she had, and I was okay with it until I found out that she had shared something about me and my stuff in an email, and I just went, nuts. I have privacy issues too. But anyway, so for 3 hours, I was just like, God. And when she came home, I just like expressed all that. And what happened was she felt bad. And I was trying to tell her that, you know, nobody's doing anything to you. You are doing this to yourself. And in hearing that, I thought it was like being bitch slapped by the universe. I thought, oh man, what the fuck? This is about me. And I had to laugh. I just went in my room and just thought, Jesus, I know nothing. This is ridiculous. But it was about me trying to fix stuff outside so I could have peace. And instead of being willing to let spirit just handle everything and realizing there was no problem, I don't have to fix stuff. But and then all of a sudden I wasn't tired anymore. And all of a sudden I started laughing, and I was watching Kenneth, and he's just always like this. And my head is, all my life has been, I've been still, but my head is, you know, the world says, you know, I have ADD, and my mind just goes really like, whoa. And sometimes I take medicine. I'm still cool with that because I'm not there yet to totally trust. But to watching like that, I just laughed, and I thought, I love to get that out of my head so I can get it out of my body as well, because I'm watching it like that. I'm like, I so relate to that. But I almost wasn't going to get on today because I was so tired. And all of a sudden I picked up the thing. I got a notice of Ken's thing, and I thought, and it said forgiveness and gratitude. After this happened, I thought forgiveness, and I thought, really, Jesus, really? Okay, fine. And I just love how these experiences just shatter this illusion. And anyway, I'm learning to trust more, even though you still look way too damn happy for me, David. I haven't experienced that yet because I tend to be serious, and like I said, I hide my joy and I hide that because when I was growing up, I was told, keep it down, keep it down. And so anyway, but I'm getting better. And I'm actually going to, for the first time, going to actually sign up and do the thing in July, because I'm realizing that I can't do this alone. This is now the time where I do need companions, because it's like the closer I get, the fear will get so overwhelming that I need people around me that won't mirror that fear back and will see through it for me until I can learn to. This is the hardest thing, is the body. You get to this thing and it's like one of the last illusions, because we have it. And anyway, it's taken me a long time, you know, to hear enough people share that they weren't just talking about the words, that they've actually, you know, eaten the cake. So anyway, thanks for letting me share that.
Thank you. Thank you, Phyllis. That's great. I'll remember that. You have to eat the cake. Don't talk about the cake unless you eat it and taste it. That's great.
Oh, thank you so much, Phyllis. I always love to hear from you and just how real you are. And that's just that is an inspiration to me, you know. That's, you just share exactly where you're at, whatever's happening. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing, not trying to be anything other than where you are. And that's all you ever can be. So I feel like you're a beautiful demonstration to us all in sharing the rawness of what you're going through. So thank you so much for that. It's always a pleasure. And I'm so grateful, because I understand where you're coming from there, of like, yeah, that's why I actually joined the community, because I prefer being on my own. And then it was like Jesus said, no. I thought, okay, I'm going to be on my own. This is great. I like this spiritual stuff. It seems like most paths, they do it on your own. And then the Course in Miracles came along, and then slowly it's like, Okay, I'm going to a community. Oh my God. But yeah, that's that's what I had to get used to, and it's a beautiful thing, and I'm so grateful for that. Oh my God, the blessings that have come from changing my mind about what I thought was real and what wasn't, and with the trust, you know, like what Francis was sharing. Maybe you missed it, but she was talking to our friend JP, and and I love this. And she had a question, and she said, JP, I have a question for you. And he said, oh yeah, what's that then? He said, well, I'd like to learn how to develop trust. Can you give me any tips? And he said, yeah, start trusting. And I love that. And I've seen that in my own mind. I thought, oh, something like clicked in my mind. And that's it. And that is it. We are developing trust. To be fair, I didn't. I'm like, listen, I don't trust you. Let's get honest. But slowly, somehow, it's only in my own mind, and it's like it just opens up more and more. And it's like, how can I not trust this? You know. So it just naturally happens. So yeah, that's beautiful. I just feel you're a beautiful flower just opening up, and I just feel so grateful. And I mean, look, the next retreat is God dependency. So I'm like, oh my God, you've picked the perfect one. Oh, I love you so much. Thank you. Whoa, that's time. I didn't know where we were. Oh, wow. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, David. Oh.
Thank you all so much.
Deep gratitude. Oh, many blessings, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. It's always a pleasure just to do this, and just, you know, you can see that Jesus is in charge. Like, we just don't know where we're going, and then this ends up happening, and you're just like, wow. It's just so beautiful. So thank you, one and all. And as always, let's expect miracles, and know that I love you very much. Bye for now.